Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing? We're at the hump of the week here in the UK. The hump indeed, guys. This is Reganelite here. Good morning with me. It is the 4th of June 2025. It is nice and early, 8 a.m. UK time. If you're awake, good morning. Hope you are doing well. Hope you slept well. And I hope you're ready for the day, whatever your day is planned, whether you're working, whether it's a day off, whether it's just chillaxing, whatever it is. I hope you have a great day, whatever it is, guys. If you're here to spend the first hour with me, much appreciated that you guys are here. Just this is a good morning show where I give you the daily quota, give you the weather report, and we'll also have a look at some of the news today. We're going to be covering news from some of the news from the UK, what some of the headlines are saying as well. And I'm going to share one of the next places that I visited in Iceland as well, guys, because so it's been something I've been doing quite a bit lately, sharing little places that I've been in and getting a little bit of facts about some of those places as well here. So good morning, Billy Kershaw. Hope you are doing well. And anybody else who's lurking in either of the chats, because we are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Although the chat is very quiet there, don't feel afraid to come and say hello in that chat as well. It's more active really in YouTube, to be fair here. So what is today's weather, guys? I talked a little bit yesterday about what the kind of weather that we might have, and it did forecast according to the weather app here that it would be raining all week. Well, at the moment it is 12 degrees here in London, here nice and early in London, and the temperatures will reach as high as 18 degrees by 3 p.m. according to the app. Although there is some sunshine, it's cloudy and sunshine, and it is expected to be cloudy pretty much for the rest of the day here in London. So there isn't any forecasting for rain, which is very good, because I actually wanted to go for my walk straight after this live stream, guys, because obviously I'm doing 3 live streams today, as you guys know, because we are back with Prime Minister's Questions, and we have a very important live stream later on today called the mental health one as well. So I definitely want to get my steps in this morning, that is for sure. Good morning, Mithril. Hope you are doing well there as well. Just for reference here, so the app, the 10-day forecast, the app that I use here on my phone, it's got the 10-day forecast here. So today, no rain, it's not forecast any rain. Tomorrow, it's reporting that an 85% chance of showers. So we did have showers yesterday afternoon here in London. I know that because the cat came in soaking wet, asking for food, rather than giving me a chance for it to try and dry it off. And then when it got food, Daisy decided to go back outside when it was raining after I dried her with a towel. Yeah, I know, cats these days. Friday is also forecast to 60% chance of rain as well there. It's going to reach 18 degrees there. So around the same temperatures as today, a little bit warmer there. And then Saturday's forecast, 65% chance of rain. Sunday, 35% chance of rain, not as much. But obviously these can differ each day as well. But that's what the app is saying for the rest of the week. So it did say it was forecasting rain for the rest of the week. However, it looks like with that today, specifically here in London, might just get away without the rain, which is actually be a good thing there. Billy Kershaw says, check out Isaac Finzenberg flying his drone over volcanoes in Iceland, cracking stuff. Oh, well, give me give me 1 second there. I am going to have a look at that. I'm going to have a look at that. I'm going to have let's see if I can get that up for you. Give me a second. I'm going to mute the desktop audio so we can have a look at that together. So I think that's very worth looking at, because I do. Volcanoes are pretty beautiful, that is for sure. Very interesting indeed. All right, hold on, let me get this. Can we open it up? Can you just take me to the... Aha. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I know I'm just playing about right now. We'll come to the quota in a second. Let's have a quick look at this. I've muted it for the moment, just because. Oh, wow. Wow, look at that. That is pretty amazing. So this is with drone technology then, yeah? Fascinating. That is impressive. Wow. Let be I'm gonna put the I will put the link in the chat in the moment. But wow, that is pretty beautiful. Just have a go a bit more forward. Yeah, that is pretty incredible. I bet the drone was quite hot when it came back as well. I like the slow motion of it in the air like that. That's really beautiful stuff. That is incredible. Thank you for telling me about this, Billy. This is beautiful. Mother Nature is amazing indeed. Good morning, Stephen Banker. Yeah, this is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna put a link for that. I'll put a link for that there, guys, if you guys want to have a look at that. Absolutely fabulous, fabulous stuff there. Really is. Mother Nature is amazing. For Barbo, good morning. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Right, of course, let's do our daily quota as well. How can we forget the daily quota as well, guys? Yeah, it is stunning photography. Absolutely amazing. What photographers do these days is quite incredible indeed. So here is today's quote to show that, of course, that I don't mislead or lied or whatever. It's actually from the paper. This quota is from Mandy Hale for the 4th of June. And it goes as, there is nothing more beautiful than someone who goes out of their way to make life beautiful for others. I really like that one. There is nothing more beautiful than someone who goes out of their way to make life beautiful for others. Those are really extraordinary people. People who really put their feelings, thoughts, and feelings aside for the enablement of others. Those really are extraordinary people. It's a lovely quotation by Mandy Hale there. Oh, tomorrow's one's really nice, and tomorrow's one is, you'll have to wait till tomorrow, guys. Sorry. Yeah, if you want tomorrow's quotation, you'll have to wait for tomorrow's Good Morning Show at 8 a.m. for that one, guys, there, if you guys want to see that one there. But I hope you found that one very, very nice. So let's talk about one of the other places I went to when I went to Iceland, guys, called in the Kiro Crater. This is one of the places that I am very lucky to have gone to in Iceland. This was actually, I actually took this as part of the what's the tour what I went on again? I can't try to remember the name of the tour that was on. It was like the Golden Gate tour. That was part of the coach trip that me and my partner went on, because we actually separated from we actually separated. There was 4 of us, and we actually separated from them so that we can kind of have our own space and do our own thing. Because remember, we're all packed in the same car for like 5 days. It's a lot. So we decided to do one day. We'd do a trip on the coach, and that's what we did here. And this Kiro Crater, as well as the other waterfalls, one of the waterfalls that you saw, I think it was yesterday's one, was part of that deal as well. And this Kiro Crater was one of them too. Essentially, it's a big hole in the ground. Is essentially what the volcanic crater is. But it's still, the way it's shaped and that is pretty fascinating, to say the least there, guys. So here is the wiki on the Kiro. So Kiro, which is also known as Kirov or Kalag, or Kirard, if I pronounce it right, is a volcanic crater lake located in the Grimsnes areas in South Iceland along the Golden Circle. That's it, the Golden Circle tour. That's what the coach trip was. It is one of several crater lakes in the area known as Iceland's Western Volcanic Zone, which includes the Reykjavík Peninsula and the Langolion Glacier. Created as the land moved over the localized hotspot, but it is the one that is most visually recognizable. Catalina is still intact. The site is a popular area for tourists in Iceland. So Kirigo is the northernmost of 4 craters situated along an 800-meter fizzle called the Tajamahala. I'm none by the botching that name. It was formed through explosive volcanic activity, classed as MAR, and its epithelial measures approximately 55 meters. That's 180 foot deep, 170 meters, that's 560 feet wide, and 270 meters, 890 feet across. The wall of the crater consists of a basal salt formed following the cooling of lava and scolia. Sources differ as to when the explosion occurred that created the crater, ranging from 6,420 years ago to 9,000 years ago. And while most of the crater is steeped wall with little vegetation, one wall is sloped more gently and blanketed with a deep moss. The sloped wall can be descended easily. The lake at the bottom of the crater is fairly shallow, that's 6 to 14 meters, depending on the level of groundwater. Due to minerals from the soil, the water appears aquamarine. Researchers have identified 10 tachia of zooplankton in the lake, primarily from the Rophila panilium. That's the crater company. And yeah, that's pretty much all the information really on the Kira crater. So here are some shots of the crater here. And yes, I don't actually have the photos and videos up of it. I can actually, give me a sec. I'll try and show you guys some shots while I see if I can get 1 or 2 videos up for you guys, because I didn't really get a chance to get the videos up for you guys. I'm just going to have a looky and see if I can get some up from it on my yeah, because I'm obviously, guys, I don't want to share obviously pictures of my family, understandably so. I know some people, like I said before, I know some people have already seen what my partner looks like, and I do share sometimes her face on Twitter, but understandably I'm still skeptical of sharing her face. So here is, 1 second, there's a shot of me. There's me up there on the crater. Let me see if I can get there's another shot of the crater there from my perspective. I'm just seeing if I can get do I have a video? Is that video? Yes, that is video. Aha, yes, this is video. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so this is video footage that I took at the crater here. I had to rush down to get down there as well, because when you're on a coach trip, you're only at certain spots for a limited time, so you've got to make the most of the time. And I wanted to walk around a lot around the crater as well as go down it, so I had to rush down as well to get the video footage as well, which is very, very annoying to say the least there. Are all these videos on their side? Yeah, I do have other videos, but the problem is they're all at a slant, so you'd have to turn your heads if you guys wanted to do that, and I don't really want to make you guys do that this early in the morning. But here is the official sign of the Kiro crater there at the there as well. Let me see if I got one more picture. Oh, this is a great shot of me there. And there is me with the background of the crater there as well. Really, I think we were only there for about 15-20 minutes max. I think something like that. Wasn't really there for that long. Because because it was the last stop on the trip as well. I believe it was the last stop on the trip as well. Oh, I've never seen it in winter actually. Wow. That's pretty beautiful. Wow, looking at it there, covered in ice and surrounded by snow. That's pretty beautiful. I know the picture's a bit smaller for you guys there, but you can see there. That's pretty stunning there. That's a pretty impressive picture there, with the person right in the center there. That's pretty impressive as well. But yeah, there's a very decent pathway down to it as well, which is it's not an issue to get down to it at all. Really is not. There it is. You can obviously see from the main road the visitors. But yeah, you can see just from that picture there just how big the crater is. It's like it's pretty huge, huge crater there. I had some people stopping out as well. I'm sure I did a picture like that somewhere. I probably just missed it there, to be fair. There, but Yeah, the winter pictures are gorgeous. I do like the winter pictures. There's just something about it. But you know, if you go during that time, it's much colder as well. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, it's really covered there. You can't really you can't really tell that much, yeah, from that shot there, can you? Interesting. And people actually literally walking on the ice there because it's that thick. It must be that cold at that time of the year whenever they've done it as well. So very, very interesting there. So that was the Akiro crater there. Another place to tick off possibly if you go to Iceland. But yeah, the golden tour by the coach. If you ain't driving, you want to go by coach trip, that's definitely one coach trip I do recommend. That is for sure, guys. There, I prefer the winter pictures to Steven Baker. I prefer the winter pictures too. I like the winter pictures as well. They're much nicer. Right, so let's have a talk about some of the news that is taking place on some of the outlets as well. So Rachel Reeves has unveiled £15 billion for trams, trains and buses outside of London, focused on capital spending and the northern cities and Midlands. Is a reconciliation that Labour needs better economic story for voters. This is great for outside London in terms of trains, trams and buses. I'm very happy to hear this package of £15 billion. But it's not really like the thing is like it's all about the devil in the detail, and stories like this don't really get talked about enough. And as things like this, like it is really good. It's good money. Although personally, I would have loved to have seen like a version of HS2 be revived of some sorts, but we know that's unlikely to happen. But let's have a read into this a bit more. So Rachel Reeves is announcing £50 billion for trams, trains and buses outside London as she launches a charm offensive to persuade fractious Labour MPs that a spending review will not be a return to austerity. So the Chancellor has begun meeting groups of backbenchers to argue that the money is part of the £113 billion investment in capital projects over the rest of the Parliament, including transport, home and energy, would only have happened under Labour. Just 3 Whitehall departments are still to agree their multi-year budgets with the Treasury before the spending review. The Guardian understands. The Home Secretary Yvette Cooper, the Energy Secretary Ed Miliband, the Housing Secretary Angela Rayner holding out. The Chancellor wants capital spending to be at the centre of the government's narrative at the conclusion of the review next week, in acknowledgement that MPs, many of them in marginal seats, need a better economic story to address the rising discontent among the public. Yeah, they need something to show that their Labour government is actually doing something. Good morning, Alex. Hope you are doing well. That you've got to show, hey, this is what the government are doing, or what you're doing on a local level to show that you're worthy of being in your place. You know, you've got to show something. I did geology at uni, so things like that are super interesting to me, says Mithril. Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. It really, really is very fascinating indeed. I don't know if you were here when we were when I was sharing the video that Billy shared. I might share it. If I get time, maybe I'll share it again at the end of the show. I'll put a link for it in the description already. If you scroll up, you haven't seen it as well. With ministers looking for ways to combat the electoral threat of Reform UK, Labour officials are attempting to refocus anxious backbenchers away from expected cuts in day-to-day spending and onto capital budgets, and we're investing to rebuild, one says. Spending review will be a difficult one for the government, however, with the Institute for Critical Studies saying the Chancellor faces unavoidable tough decisions as the demands of funding for the NHS and defence raise the prospect of deep cuts elsewhere. We have a big battle on how to frame this, one minister told The Guardian. The big risk is that people get the spending review turned to the back of the books to see the minus numbers, and the story is the big cuts. But the difference is what would have been without massive extra investment that came from the budget or capital spending, which is huge. And I think it'll be a job that will set out. I think a lot of cabinet ministers, perhaps all apart from Ed and Yvette, do get that. Reeves' allies argue that departments will receive £300 billion more than the Conservatives had planned as a result of the decisions she took in the autumn budget, such as loosening the physical rules on capital spending. This includes £190 billion more on day-to-day spending over the Parliament. Don't get me wrong, the book, like, here's the thing, like, don't get me wrong, the balancing of the books is definitely a lot better than the Conservatives. Like, I've said this before and I've said this again. If I had to choose between having a Conservative government and a Labour government, what would I choose? I would choose a Labour government. any day of the week. Like the last 15 years speaks for itself. But that doesn't mean that I like the Labour government, okay? But I would certainly prefer them than the Conservatives. You know, history speaks for itself there. Now, are Labour going to get things right? No. But there are signs, in my view, in my opinion, there are signs that they are doing some good things. And they deserve credit for that. And they deserve scrutiny on things that they haven't done well on there. And I think that's really, really important to establish. It will. I don't like the fact that we are still talking about cuts in other parts of departments and whatnot. It really, really does infuriate me that we still have to have those conversations. Trams don't feed people. Yeah, trams don't feed people. You know, they don't. They get people to A to B. They can get people to A to B. They can get people into jobs. But if those jobs don't pay them enough money, it's not going to put food on their table. And as well, it's also the cost of actually paying for that transport as well that people have to remember as well. So the talk about defence will not shut up anytime soon, I'm afraid, guys. So Francis from Sky News that the UK will be forced to increase defence spending to 3.5% of GDP in NATO's push to keep on the US side, Sky News understands. As well as a rise in pure defence spending to 3.5% by 2035, Keir Starmer will also likely be forced to commit a further 1.5% of GDP to defence-related areas such as spy agencies and infrastructure. This is extremely excessive. It's already bad enough that I heard that that reports were saying that they need to spend at least £61 billion or something to update our modern military, which is like just absolutely insane. But now they're talking about 3.5% of our gross domestic product going towards defence. Like, I mean, don't get me, like, I've said this before and I've said this again. Is defence important? Yes. But do we need to be spending this much when we're already cutting back on foreign aid? We're not doing enough for the cost of living crisis. We're not doing anywhere near enough right now when it comes to child poverty, never mind poverty. And we're also making life more difficult for people on personal independent payments on PIP as right now for entitlements that people need. Like, is this really the main? Is this something really that people really are focusing on right now? No. Is defense important? Yes. Are we under threat right now? No. It's being exaggerated, the threats right now. It really, really is being exaggerated. So the certainty of major policy shifts means that there is a bemusement in the Ministry of Defence about why Sir Keir Starmer's government has tied itself in knots over whether to describe an earlier plan to hit 3% of GDP by 2030 as an ambition or a commitment when it is about to change. The problem seems as a political, with the Prime Minister needing to balance warfare against welfare, the money for bombs and bullets, or the winter fuel payment and childcare. Well, we know what side we're on when it comes to this topic. Like, we know what side we're on when it comes to this topic. Keir is due to hold discussions to decide on the defence spending targets as early as today is understood, as well as a rise in pure defence spending to 3.5% by 2035. He will also be likely to be forced to commit a further 1.5% of GDP to defence-related areas such as spy agencies, infrastructure, military needs, roads, rail networks and airports to deploy at speed. This would bolster broader, deepening spending to 5%. Target Mark Rutte, head of NATO, wants all allies to sign up to a major summit and 5%. Yeah, that's asking a bit more. It is referred to as the Hugh investment plan. Yeah, you can stuff it with that much. Like, come on. Asked about what would happen at the summit, defence source said 3.5% without a doubt. So what? We cutting more foreign aid then, are we? Yeah, the Prime Minister reiterated the 3% ambition when he pushed on the major defence review on Monday, placed at NATO first at the heart of the UK defence policy. The defence source said, how can you have a defence review that says NATO first and then be amongst the last of the alliance's 32 member states, along with countries like Spain, to back this new goal? Unlike Madrid, London presents itself as the leading European nation in the alliance. Listen. Like, let's just put this on the record here. Yeah, Britain is already spending well excess in terms of other. Spending very well in terms of other European countries. Now, of course, those who are on the border of Russia, their defence spending is higher, understandably so. But we're still spending like on the same levels, if not more, than Spain, France, Germany, and Italy. Like, so I don't know why we keep talking about needing to spend more when we literally on a bloody island. We're nowhere near Russia. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What jobs? Government wasting thingies over AI. Most jobs will go to the golden service industry. There will be job creations. There will be job creations in certain areas. It's just finding them. There will be some job creations in certain areas. Yes, I understand it's more difficult in rural areas in England, for example. It is difficult to find those jobs, but there have been some announcements for some job creations. I understand that that as somebody who lives in London, that the jobs availabilities are much less outside the capital. I accept that premise, and the Labour government needs to do more with that, and those on a local level need to do more to entice investors and businesses to come to their areas rather than just going to the capital all the time when it comes to job creation. It is a challenge, but I do believe that it can be achieved if people can put willing to put their money in their pockets and help businesses grow in those areas. It can be done. The black hole of military procurement, yeah. The £20 billion black hole. Yeah, this is the 20 billion. You know what? Yeah, right. This is the £20 billion black hole right here. Is everything on military? They want the Defence Review said that in order for them to modernise our military, we need to spend up to £60 billion, guys. Like, tell me where you'll find £60 billion in military. Answers on the postcard, please. The other story will come. I've got here from the BBC. Prime Minister warns that more funding is needed to halve crime against women. Prime Minister has been warned that he will fail to meet his own target of halving violence against women and girls without significant investment in the service, according to two senior government watchdogs. This is something, obviously, the Labour government have been kicking and screaming about, and what's her name, who has been the champion for this as well. Someone put her name in the comments. You know the MP I'm talking about. Jess Phillips, that's it, Jess Phillips, who has been a champion for this. Like, this is something they need to really do. Like, they've been going on about how important it is to really get that violence against women and girls dropped significantly and really crack down on those people who bring harm to them. It's really, this one is definitely one that needs to be dealt with. It's the first time Domestic Abuse Commissioner for England and Wales, Dame Nicole Jacobs, and Victim Commissioner for England and Wales, Baroness Anulov, have written jointly to the Prime Minister. The pair have said victims' support services were being pushed to the brink by funding cuts and rising costs. The intervention comes ahead of the Chancellor's spending review later this month, which is expected to feature cuts to some areas of public spending. In a further headache for ministers, the country's own senior police chiefs have also warned Sir Keir Starmer they will face stark choices about which crimes to investigate if their budgets are cut as expected. The BBC understands that the Home Office, which is responsible for both a victims and police force, is still in negotiations with the Treasury over how funds will be allocated in the spending review. In a letter seen by the BBC, the commissioners told Sir Keir that the spending review was a chance to defy the government's legacy for victims and survivors. The pair have said that they welcome the Prime Minister's personal commitment to halving violence against women and girls within a decade, but says funding cuts and scaled-back ambitions are leading to piecemeal policies. And they added that with bold and ambitious investment, we can finally tackle the systematic stain of violence and abuse, and said the cost of inaction is one this country can no longer afford. Yeah, it cannot afford to continue this. Yeah, you cannot be cutting funding on something like this. Like, I get this whole premise of cutting here, cutting there, but there should not be any cutting whatsoever here. He's cutting crime against women, but not counting trans women as women as well. Very good point there, Mithril. Thank you for that. That is also a very important point as well there. Good evening, Steve McMahon, over on the other side of the world. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Thank you so much for the $10 New Zealand dollars, my friend. First super chat of the day here. Thank you so much for your support and the support in the Democratic Penguins Republic against the evil Trump tirade who are imposing tariffs on McDonald's Island. The funding will help support the Democratic Penguins Republic and their war efforts against the United States. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope you are doing well. And good morning, Kate Smith, as well. Good to see you there and lurking in the chat as well. And anybody else who may be lurking as well. Soviet Mind on Twitch. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. At least you guys have free healthcare. I'm super poor because of Trump. I'm so sorry to hear that. For those over in America really struggling right now, my condolences to people out there who don't have that health care, and I can only hope that things get better. I just don't know if they will they won't be getting better anytime soon. It doesn't mean just because things are dark right now doesn't mean there won't be light at the end of the tunnel. That's the best thing I can possibly say for that. Just one other story I want to come to before we go to reading around the rest of the news, guys. here. Oh my God, please go away, advert. Exclusive from The Independent here that says that Starmer's urged to keep the pledge on backing Israel-Gaza peace initiative based on the path to the Good Friday Agreement. The exclusive reveals that a new paper has argued that Sakir needs to push forward with plans to back a Middle East peace fund with the new international coalition. So I'll just read into this before I give my thoughts, guys. So he's been urged to pledge a support of a new international coalition to scale up the peace process in the Middle East as the crisis in Gaza deepens. At a major conference on the conflict last December, the Prime Minister said he would bring together countries to back the project that is based on an initiative that brought peace in Northern Ireland. Then in February, Downing Street and the Foreign Office had meetings with figures behind the curtain. The International Fund for Israeli-Palestinian Peace, which would bring together people on both sides of the conflict for a two-state solution. Now, a paper by Labour Friends of Israel, seen by The Independent, has made a case for the plan again. Labour Friends of Israel, guys. It comes as the row over the way Israel is controlling aid to Gaza has intensified. The United Nations demand an investigation into the deaths of 27 Palestinians shot dead while trying to collect aid at one of the hubs created by Israel. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. We've spoken about this on Monday. I don't know if there's been another incident today because it was back-to-back that these were happening. I hope it didn't happen again on Tuesday morning. I hope not. But Keir Starmer and the Labour government, specifically the cabinet, they're being softball on Israel and they're not being harsh enough about it. And it's very, very frustrating considering what we have been covering out there. I know Prime Minister's Questions is at today at 12, but also just wanted to remind you guys on Rumble. Video dropping 12 o'clock today. One of the hardest videos I've ever recorded. It is about the famine in Gaza that I recorded from an article from Middle Eastern Eye. It is a very brutal one to talk about because it talks about what happens to the body when they don't get nutrition, when they don't get food, what happens to it. And it's very, very harsh. And I know it's not for the faint-hearted, but I do recommend people checking it out. I will put out a community post after Prime Minister's Questions, urging people to go out their way to watch that video because I do think it's important. I don't know. I don't trust this Labour government to do anything about it, but we'll have to wait and see. Like, I don't expect this initiative to really get... Like, it's all well and good getting other international allies on board, but the main culprit is obviously the United States, and we know where the US stands on all of this, guys. That's the biggest frustration out of all of this more than anything. Right, let's have a look and see what some of their headlines are saying in some of the websites. God, I wish they would get rid of this... Sorry, let me see if I can get rid of this advert. No, I can't get rid of it. Very annoying. So this is the front page of The Guardian under UK politics. They've got Home Office accused of racist crackdown on Nigerians after denial on visa. Officials refuse entry to a man who runs top security firm in Nigeria and his family to spend a holiday with his sister. Officials refuse entry to a man who runs top security firm. The Home Office has been accused of a racist crackdown on Nigerians after refusing a visa to a man who runs one of the West Africa country's top security firms on a holiday to see his family. He runs BK Security Limited, which provides close protection for high-profile people in Nigeria and abroad. He and his wife, a successful businesswoman, has applied to come to the UK with their 18-year-old child for 3 weeks in the summer so they could spend time with his sister. Hope and her husband Nick, who is campaigning for Ramadan, which supports vulnerable migrants. Despite understanding to support the families during the trip, Home Office turned down the visa visit application. The refusal letter state, "This sponsorship does not satisfy me with your intention to leave the UK on completion of your visit." So basically, the Home Office basically say, we don't trust you not to go away. Basically, is what they're implying. They had said the future visits also likely to be refused. Officials also queried how he provided. I can't say his name, obviously, guys, as you know. He provided the Home Office with his business registration certificate, dedicates an income of his business as a self-employed person. BK Securities provides services former Nigerian president, senior UK and US politicians, celebrities, and international football players like Alex Iwobi, the former Arsenal and Everton player, who currently plays for Fulham and Nigeria. So literally, like, oh my God, this is quite embarrassing for the Home Office. It was reported last month the government was planning to clamp down on visa applications from people in several countries, including Nigeria. And there is no doubt the UK government's refused these visas applications as part of a racist crackdown over Nigerians. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We do not want to stay in the UK. We just come to visit our family for 3 weeks, they said. Home Office spokesperson said every application is assessed on its individual merits based strictly on the evidence provided and in accordance with the guidance detailed decision making. If an application refused, the reasons are clearly explained. According to the Home Office sources, those who visit visas have been refused can reapply, addressing the concerns for refusal, notice, financial circumstances. Well, one of these factors considered before refusing the family's visa. Yeah, a bit excessive, I would say there. I don't see, like, the thing is they're visiting, he's not actually staying there. It really isn't. It's not a case that they're actually staying there. Stephen Mon, thank you so much for the $4 New Zealand dollar super chats there. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you for your support, my friend. Much appreciated. Let's see. Fire station in England falling apart amid $1 billion funding cut, Chief says. White House signals UK will be spared 50% steel and aluminium tariffs. Good. UK ministers draw up laws to fast-track removal of migrants arriving from safe countries. There's only so much you can do with that. Yvette Cooper quizzed over immigration and prison crisis as it's happened. That was yesterday. Police in England and Wales identified 287 sexual exploration cases for review. 287. My God, that is absolutely so many cases. Let's check the front of the UK, see what it says here. Physician associations to be renamed to stop them being mistaken for doctors. Sellafield nuclear cleanup too slow and too costly, says MPs. Rachel Rees unveils the £15 billion. Yeah, we talked about that. Train checking enforcement must be fair and proportionate, watchdog warns. Yeah, they need to, like, there is a lot of fare dodging. It's very easy to fare dodge. They need to, like I understand why some people need to do it, but if they generally want to clamp down on it, there are ways. They just need to put more people out there, more bodies out there. And that is from the Guardian today, guys. And just in terms of news, just want to point out I bit my tongue not once but twice when I was at my wrestling show on Sunday. My tongue is still sore from it. I actually bit my lip bit my lip inside my lip, so I've got an ulcer there. So my mouth has been sore, and yet I'm still being able to record and do live streams, guys. Can you believe that? It's very, very painful. I'm just hoping it will recover. Just takes time to recover, that's all, guys. It's not like it's bleeding or anything. It was bleeding a little bit on the day, but it's stopped now. Trump exempts UK from latest tariff hikes as Chancellor unveil billions in spending. That's live now. Sam Coates has got Rachel Reeves about to make huge spending decisions. We ask AI to do the job for her. You're asking AI to do the job for her. Are you implying that AI should replace her as the Chancellor? Who are the candidates heated in Scotland's by-election? And defence, we talked about that one, the 3.5%. Trump, UK escapes Trump increase 50% tariff, but White House warns the exemptions is conditional. Has Trump betrayed Starmer's steel deal? Question mark. Honestly, don't know that, guys. Thank you again, Steve. Thank you so much for hitting the target for us with another $4 New Zealand dollars, helping hitting the goal today for supporting the Democratic Penguins Republic. Sorry, guys, I have to show you. Pengu, he keeps switching departments for the Democratic Penguins Republic. He's not the president. I know people think he's the president, but he's not. He always keeps switching departments. I know he obviously works. He does in tandem with Briggs, but he wanted to say thank you for your support, Steve. Much appreciated. Wasn't there a video of a Tory reform guy harassing people who had not paid their train fares? Yeah, and yeah, it was. Wasn't that the Batman? I think it was Batman. It was the Batman version of Wish.com. I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, something like that. The A&E where security guards with up to 20 mental health patients daily. British man goes missing on a stag do. Hopefully gets found soon. Big unanswered questions as new search for Madeleine McCann underway is still going on. I just don't know with that story, guys. I just don't know what's going on with that story. I don't pay attention to it enough to know. No, intelligence suggests double shooting in Spain is linked to a gang feud. How does that relate to UK? Was it UK people that died? I'm just curious. Which government in the last 30 years has seen the biggest increase in immigration as well? They've got there. So that is from Sky News. Let's have a look and see what the BBC is saying for us this morning here, guys. This is on politics. UK temporary spare from Trump's 50% steel tariffs. Chancellor to announce £15 billion for the transport projects. Talks ongoing over NATO defence target, says number 10. PM has been warned more funding needed to halve a crime against women. We looked at that already. Sedafield could leak until 2050. MPs have been warned. Police to re-examine 287 child sexual exploration cases there. Has good weather helped to fuel record small boat crossings? Like, you don't even need BBC Verified to understand that. Like, it's literal common sense, guys. I mean, if the weather is clear, if the weather is sunny, if the seas are calm, it's less windy, of course they're going to cross over much easier there. If it's pissing down with rain and it's storm and it's very, very windy, the chances of them getting on those boats are very unlikely. It's not rocket science to understand that one. Good morning, Alistair Keir. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Happy Wednesday to you and everybody else in the chat. He's gifted 5 memberships to Simon Says 55. Chatty Rat, Billy Shaw, Jesus H. Christ, and Goddess of Abundance have all been gifted memberships there. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Good morning to you and anybody else lurking in either chats as well, just for reference. Let's see what else they've got here. Apple and Google clash with police and MPs over phone thefts. What's the senior figures at Apple and Google have clashed with the police over its recommendations on how best to deal with phone theft in the UK. Told the Science and Initiative Commission, which is considering the question, that 2/3 of thefts in London are now related to mobile phones, with up to 70% of knife crimes linked to robbery. Told MPs that it meant phone theft was significantly driving parts of our violent problem. The Met wants phone companies to use unique identification numbers known as IMEIs that each device has to block if they are reported as stolen. But Apple and Google, who dominate the market, raise concerns about the idea. Focusing on IMEI blocking might miss some of the problems. Apple's head of enforcement requests, Gary Davis, told the committee. We're worried that there's a vector for fraud, and we are concerned about a world where it would be a person who claims to be the owner who's asking. Stolen devices are blocked from being used by the UK by phone networks by using its IMEI, but it's not the case globally. It means a stolen phone can still be used in some other countries if a criminal is able to bypass the device's security. Let me just talk about, just mention this, guys. Like, here's the thing, like, with regards to phone thefts, you cannot put this on Apple and Google when it comes to phone theft. Like, I'm sorry, but like I have my criticisms with them because they have so much money and they own so much, dominate so much of the market. But you can't put the emphasis on them when it comes to phone theft. Okay, this is my 2 cents when it comes to phone theft. Okay, yeah, keep your phone out of reach, out of sight. Yeah, if you're in the cities, like, just keep them in zip pockets. Like, do not. One of my biggest criticisms I have for especially with women. I'm sorry, I have to put this out to some women out there. They put their phones in the back of their jeans pockets. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You are asking for your phone to get snatched if you do that. Okay. It is something the police need to crack down on. It's not something that Apple and Google need to do more on. This is something that the police need to take an action with. And I don't think I don't know what Apple and Google can kind of do any more to this. For me, the issue is about the individual and how they look after their phone, and about how the police are dealing with the amount of phone thefts and what actions that they are taking to address this issue. I don't think talking to Apple and Google is really going to make a difference when it comes to phone theft. I'm sorry, but that's just the general reality. Even if you make it more difficult for people to access those phones, people are still going to steal those phones one way or another. They're still going to steal them. So the issue is about how people need to be careful with their phones, and what the police are doing to catch these criminals who are doing them. Because let's be clear, there are organised gangs in parts of the UK that are intentionally going after people's phones, and they need to be targeted and need to be dealt with. That's what it really is, I feel. Debt and trade issues weaken UK growth, the OECD says. Defence plans will ensure UK is ready for war, Minister says. France renewing small boat policing tactics, Cooper says. Yeah, they're just saying that. And some other latest updates here. Reform UK given Musk-style audit. Yeah, we don't need to hear more of that nonsense there. Let's have a look at the front of UK. Let's see what they're saying here on the BBC. Man killed in racist attack told police he saw similar assault weeks before the death. RAF Chief Sir Richard Nelson to lead the armed forces. Search for Maddie McCann's case to resume in Portugal. Again, I don't really want to talk about that case because I just don't know where that's going at the moment. Police investigate heart deaths at an NHS hospital. Police launched an investigation into the deaths of patients following heart operations at an NHS hospital. The BBC has learned documents seen by us suggest patients suffering avoidable harm and that in some cases their death certificates failed to disclose that the procedure contributed to their deaths. Oh. One woman's operation in Castle Hill Hospital near Hull should have taken no more than 2 hours has been described as a disaster by one medic. She spent 6 hours in surgery and lost 5 litres of blood, all while under local anaesthetic. Oh my God. But none of this was mentioned on her death certificate, which was recorded as dying from pneumonia. Her family also not told what happened. Wow, what a cover-up. That's outrageous. The NHS body that runs Castle Hill, the Humber Healthcare Partnership, told the BBC it had delivered improvements suggested by the Royal College of Physicians in a statement saying it was happy to directly answer any questions from the patient's family. Humberside Police said the investigation was in the very early stages and no arrests have been made. Wow, this definitely stinks of a cover-up here. That stinks of a cover-up right there. Wow, that's disgusting. Like, to not even be honest about what happened. That's really, really... my deepest sympathies to the family there. That's just absolutely shocking from the NHS there. Questions seriously need to be answered about that hospital. Train firms must stop criminalising innocent errors. Report says. Train passengers are suffering unfair penalties for minor and often genuine mistakes in buying tickets and inquiries are found. Yes, I 100% agree with this. The Office for Rail and Road OBR says Britain's fare system was complex and rail firms must stop taking disproportionate action against travellers. Sam said he thought he bagged a £1.90 discount on a ticket using a young person's rail card, but was threatened with court action, now dropped, and the saving didn't apply before 10 a.m. on weekdays outside July and August. The rail delivery group, which represents rail firms, says fare evasion costs cost the industry £400 million a year, but acknowledged that the industry has to be more consistent. The ORR inquiry looks into how the rail industry handles fare evasion after passengers were being prosecuted over small amounts of money. The OCR cited the case, which was eventually dropped, with a local politician looked into the issue, where a passenger was threatened with court action for accidentally choosing a 16 to 25 rail card discount when they held a 26 to 30 rail card, giving both the same discount. Oh, for feck's sake. Come on! We're talking about tiny little differences here. For bloody hell. The report also found passengers who had forgotten their rail card were often penalised, though it was said it was difficult for rail staff to determine genuine mistakes from those who had to choose deliberate underpay. Good morning, Dave McGuinness. Hope you are doing well, my friend. I will try to make your show later today. No promises, though, but I have 3 live streams to do today. So do check out his show at 10:30 today, guys. youtube.com/2Davey. Someone put a link in the chat for those to check it out later. Yeah, this... I've not been a victim of innocent errors, but obviously I'm aware, I know of people who have been. So it is something that that bothers me. You know, I'm all for going after those who are taking advantage of the system, but yeah, it's a very frustrating when there are many people who are taking advantage of the system. Very, very frustrating. Right, let me just run through. I didn't realise we've already got 12 minutes to go. Just a reminder, Politics Social, Graham Hughes has a morning brew at 9 a.m. So we'll be stopping at that time, just for reference, guys. This is from The Independent under UK Politics. UK spared Trump's new 50% steel tariff. Starmer chooses RAF Chief Steve Richard Knighton to lead the armed forces. Reeves and Starmer face cabinet revolt over spending review. The PM urged to intervene in a never-ending nightmare of Aung San Suu Kyi. Why is Labour football regulators picked leading to a crisis of foul play? Police warn of stark choices on investigation crimes if the cuts have hit. Starmer urged to keep pledge on backing Israel-Gaza peace initiative. What peace initiative? Like Israel don't give a Israel, excuse my French, but Israel don't give a shit about any peace initiative. Number 10 in the dark over whether UK steel will be hit with fresh tariffs. Public rescue not the answer, says Thames Water, says Minister as Thames Water bid fails. Well, you're a fucking moron. Excuse my language. Number of small boats carrying over 80 migrants quadruples. I know it's more complicated than that with regards to the water system, but nationalisation is the only answer. NATO will force Starmer to spend 3.5% of GDP on defence to woo Trump. Budapest police deny LGBTQ plus march request, citing Hungary's legislative pride ban. Absolutely disgusting what Hungary are doing there. I hope all ban gets overthrown. I really do. That guy's absolutely nasty. Nasty man what he's doing now. BBC joined into a row with the White House over Gaza coverage. Why does the White House care about what BBC are covering? How they cover it? Couple who forced extreme vegan diet on son and buried body jailed. Wow. I don't even want to read that story. British woman found dead on a full moon party island in Thailand. Condolences indeed. What is the new COVID variant NB181? Symptoms and cases confirmed in the UK. What's up stories here? UK's most hazardous building still leaking radioactive war. MPs have warned. Dire warning for government as a spectacle of animal disease looms there. So that's some of the stories from the Independent. I need to kind of speed things up a little bit. This is what the iPaper is saying today, guys. Front page, Labour MPs fear Red Bull collapse without radical action to stop the small boats. UK stockpile military medical supplies in case of nuclear attack. Okay. Musk attacks Trump's spending bill as disgusting abomination. Sorry, I have to laugh at Musk. I have to laugh at him, guys. The area is set to get new trains, trams, and bus links mapped. Oh, so they got a map for it. I can't open it, guys, because they want me to pay money for the iNews. I'm not doing that anymore. UK spared from Trump's 50% steel tariffs for now. Reeves to spend billions on the North and see off rising reform threat. News, some persons that we can't take on life on nuclear submarine is really like. Let's have a quick look at the politics bit. See if there's anything we haven't read there. Your pension could be invested in sewage dumping water firms. What a surprise. UK cannot afford Iron Dome style missile shield to guard against Russian attacks there. And then there's some political stuff, other political stuff there. Good morning, One Angry Pagan. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Anybody else lurking in the chats? So that's from the iPaper. Let's go to the Financial Times, see what they're saying here. This is the front of UK Financial Times. British industry exempt from Trump's doubling the steel tariffs, but UK bosses are pressing Keir Starmer for a rapid implementation of the trade deal agreed with the president. Remember, it's not actually been signed yet. We have to remember that. It's not been signed. It's very, very important to emphasize that. Plan to shake up the UK power market backed by a group of peers. Supporters argue that zonal pricing reforms are needed to deal with national grid constraints. What's next for Thames Water? We already know UK's largest utility at risk of nationalisation after KKR walked away from £4 billion rescue deal. It's absolute nonsense. Just nationalise it already. The government are just being twats about it. Sorry. Labour forced to postpone £5,000 ahead business conference. Ahead of that. Ministers to hand more than £1 billion to lower Thames Crossing in spending deal under UK infrastructure. Raised to back Manchester-Liverpool rail link in transport spending boost. UK Series 4 probes the companies that sold solar farms to Thurrock Council there as well. That's the Financial Times there. I do want to show that video that Billy Kershaw showed us at the start of the show for those who are popping in now as well. This from the Times. Rachel Reeves pledged £15 billion boost investment to boost the North. The Chancellor will set out transport projects to encourage growth in rebel areas where Nigel Farage is gaining a foothold. Starmer handed 5-week reprieve from Trump's steel tariff. Ministers fight over scraps as reality bites on spending review. Big Pharma warn ministers over NHS drug standoff. We'll never weather the migrant crisis without a new excuse. They've got there. Government threatens to sue Roman Abramovich over the Chelsea sale funds. I think I've done a video on Patreon about this. Basically, the funds that Roman Abramovich sold Chelsea Football Club with is still in a frozen. In a frozen British account, but there's a dispute between Abramovich's lawyers and the UK government of how to spend that money because it's supposed to go towards Ukraine, but Abramovich doesn't want it all going to Ukraine. He wants it actually going to Russian victims, which is impossible to kind of manage. So yeah, it's a nightmare. So they're threatening to take Abramovich to court basically over the issue. Police cuts will mean that some crimes must be ignored. No, we can't do that. That's a very, very bad idea. Third of granted asylum claims are deemed exceptional by judges. Farmer Nightmare's father took his own life over the inheritance tax changes. Yeah, I'm hearing this story pop. This is not. I'm starting to hear a lot of farmers taking their own lives over the inheritance tax change. The government needs to do something about that. It's very disheartening when I hear stories like that. Very, very disheartening. No, go away, Telegraph. No, 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 you cannot have my money. Go away. The Tory Graph, or Telegraph for its real name. Trump attacks BBC over Gaza misreporting. White British will be a minority in 40 years, report claims. Moving on. Reform voters are alarm clocks. People like me up early and working hard. Okay, sure. Manly McCann investigators remove evidence from abandoned houses. NATO demand for 3.5% of spending review blows a hole in Starmer's review. James Cleverly, we can grow our economy without killing net zero. Okay, James. Okay, sure. Putin hands surrender of terms to Ukraine. I don't believe that for a second. Russia's Pearl Harbor has left Putin's attacks plans in tatters. Like, people are overhyping that attack from yesterday. It wasn't that big of a deal, guys. It really wasn't. What he should have done, if Zelensky had blown up the bridge, that would have been a different matter. Well, all he did, they reopened the bridge literally the same day, guys. Like, it really wasn't that big of a. It really wasn't that big of a deal, in my opinion. Israel admits firing towards Gazans near US aid center. It was ChatGPT, said Italian, who called for Melody's daughter to be murdered. You're blaming ChatGPT. Wow. Okay, that's a bit of an odd story there. And then finally we come to Byline Times. This is emerging stories they've got. Police to get powers to ban masks at protests. Starmer's government accused of copy and pasting Conservative plans. My partner turned out to be an undercover cop. Now I'm exposing the truth. Sellafield nuclear waste cleanup is 13 years behind schedule and £20 billion over budget. Reform-led councils swaves a meeting to make claims that they don't know what they're doing. What a surprise! They don't know what they're doing, guys. Some of these stories are already quite old. We've seen some of them already on from Monday and even some of them on Friday. But Byline Times, you don't get any cookies with them as well, which is one thing good about going to their website as well. So there's some of the stories there from Byline Times there as well. So just got a couple minutes before Graham goes live. So I wanted to show you guys this anyway. Thank you again, Billy Kershaw, for sharing this. Because we were talking a bit earlier, for those who are popping in, we were talking a bit about some of the places I've been to in Iceland. And Billy Kershaw referred me to this lovely little clip here of lava up close in slow motion during volcano eruption in Ireland. This is in Iceland here. Absolutely wonderful. So I thought I'd just share this with some of you guys who weren't here at the start of the live stream. Absolutely beautiful. I imagine the drone must be fairly must have certain materials, obviously, that protects itself. And yes, I have muted it because obviously I don't know if he plays like music or whatever. So, but yeah, look at it in slow motion. It's pretty stunning stuff there. Let's see if I can get another. Oh, that's a good one. I haven't seen that bit because we were just looking at different clips there. Look at that. That is stunning. That is absolutely stunning. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible there. There's another shot there from above as well. Look at that. You've got the smoke and some of the ash dropping there. Oh, this is a good one here as it's just flying up towards the volcano there as well. Yeah, so lava up close in slow motion during the volcano eruption in Iceland here. How long ago was this? This is literally 5 months ago. This was put up as well. So absolutely incredible stuff there. So if you guys want to have a look at it, I will put the link for that video. There you go. There's the link for that video if you guys want to have a look on your own time. But just a reminder, guys, I'm covering Prime Minister's questions at 12 p.m. So if you guys want to join me for PMQs, you're more than welcome to join me for that. And then I will be doing a mental health live stream tonight at 8 p.m. So if you can join me for that, it'd be very, very good. Very good to talk about our mental health because It's been a while since we've done one for a couple of months now. So if you guys want to join me for that, you're welcome to as well. So I've got a very busy day today. I'm going out for a walk, so I will miss Morning Brew. But if you're still around, go check out Graham Hughes' Morning Brew, and also check out Dave McGuinness' paper review at 10:30 as well. If you can do that as well, be very much appreciated there. So thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for the gifted memberships. Thank you, Steve McMillan, for the super chats as well. Have a great, wonderful day, whatever you guys are doing. Take care, and, well, have a good day.